Hello everybody out there, thank you for coming and watching version 2 of the wood gas stove. This is a separate stove than my other one that I did. I'm making it for my sister, and I am doing this as an experiment test stove as well. I've definitely made changes to this one compared to the other one and how it's designed. So we will see how well it performs after everything is done and after we do a burn test and a boil test on it. So thank you again for watching this video and enjoy.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be doing another one of these wood gas stoves. I'll be doing it a little bit different. These are the two containers I'm going to be using. These are, the other stove that I showed you was the larger one. It was used with the largest container and then the second to smallest container. And then this particular stove is going to be used with the second largest container and the smallest container. So it will be a little bit smaller than the other stove, but I'm going to design this one a bit differently to make it a little bit simpler, because drilling holes in stainless steel can be a pain. What I typically do is punch a hole through with a nail. I have a palm nailer, and I stick a nail into that and then line my nail up where I want the hole on the container and then punch a hole through it. That way there's a starter hole so that I can drill the holes into the container. But this time I'm going to just grind slits into it with my grinder. It's a lot simpler that way. And then we'll see the outcome of that as far as the burn goes, to see if there's any type of a difference in performance, good or bad. And I'll also be doing slits for the primary air holes at the base of this inner container. And then I'll drill holes on the top for the secondary holes on this inner container as well. But just to show you, this smaller container, it will slide into the lid of this once I grind it down a little bit. It doesn't quite fit. It's close. I might be able to force it in like it is. But I may have to grind it down a little bit. They used to make these so that you didn't have to force them in. They would slide in pretty nicely, but where you didn't have to grind it down. But that's not the case anymore. You do have to typically do a little bit of grinding. So, alright, I'll get back to you once I... Alright, so for the secondary air intake holes on this inner can right here towards the top, I got a piece of tape and I taped it around the can, and then I sliced it. I cut it down the middle and then took it off. So the width of this tape, the length of it, actually is the actual length around this entire can. That way I can do my measurements properly. So it's 14 inches long. And what I did is I put a mark every half of an inch and about 1/8 of an inch down from the top of the tape, and then I'm going to wrap that back around on the top. That way I have a place set and marked so that when I go to punch my holes into this can, they're going to be even. On this outer can right here, I'm trying something new. So you can see that I slit the holes in the bottom for the primary intake holes. I may need to make more, we'll find out. But then I also put holes in right here by the top to let extra air in through for the secondary intake holes. We'll see if that helps improve the burn, or how that changes everything. If not, then what I'll do is I'll just put a clamp around that and close off all those holes. So when I am doing these holes, what I'm doing is I am putting a screw in through the hole, and then I'm wedging it down like sideways and down at an angle so that it tapers these holes this direction, so that way when the air flows in, it creates kind of a vortex as it goes. So we'll see how that works as well. Alright, we'll come back later. Okay, now I have the piece of tape around, and you can see what I mean by where I have this seam in the tape. Let's see where it comes together. it is right here. See, so that's where I cut it. It's a single focus. There we go. And then I'll just line that up and punch a hole right there too, between where that seam's at. But, so that's how that works. Alright, so I pretty much got this totally done and ready to go. A couple things I need to do, just slide the inner container into this outer one. But this is the outer container. You can see the intake holes right there at the bottom and at the top. Like I said, if having those holes at the top makes it so that this does not work like it should, I will just put a hose clamp around that to seal it off. And then this inner container, I got it all done. You can see the primary intake holes there. Got the slit at the bottom. And then you have the secondary intake holes, half of an inch apart from each other. And I do have all those at angles, as you can kind of see if I can get it close enough. It'll focus. They are tapered that direction, so that way it kind of makes a vortex as the air sucks through. So we shall see how well it works once I get this container pressed into the lid of this. We'll be good to go. It actually started to go in without having to grind it down. I'll see if I can push it in all the way or not. Let you guys know. Alright, here's the finished product. So I did have to grind this lid down a little bit, but not a lot. And it actually slid up nicely and then snapped into place because where these secondary holes are at, it sticks out a little bit and it actually snaps up and holds that in there nicely. So that worked out great. But, alright, so I'll just fit it on there like that and then put this lid right there, and then I'll build a little pot stand for it and it'll be ready to go. And we'll test fire it and see how well it does.
Everybody for watching version 2 of the wood gas stove. We will be doing a test burn in the next video, and we will be boiling 2 cups of water. I'll also do that for the previous stove that I built. I'll boil 2 cups of water, and we will compare results to see how long it took for each to boil the water, and then we will also see how long that wood burns after that, like the total burn length of the wood that's in the stove. We'll use as close to we can as the same amount of fuel in each stove, and from now on when I build a stove, that's how we will test them, the different variations of the stoves that I built, to see which performs the best, both in bringing water to a boil the quickest and also in efficiency, which one utilizes the fuel the best. So thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.